So Adrian says he's a Manchester United fan, and the lady, that's Chris, he's speaking to, says, I'm sorry about that. So it's okay for her to say that to him. But if he said to her, sorry about that, after she's told him that she was a lesbian, there'd be hell to pay. Just saying. When anything ends with just saying, you know, Steve, I'm really sorry, but you're an idiot. And I'm
no,
and I don't.
Max, you can't just say no. But what?
The talkSPORT Clips of the Week.
Yes, it's time for the Clips of the Week, and we better crack on, because we've got plenty of them, Andy.
Yes,
Would you care to start proceedings?
I'd love to, and we start with the first of a new series here on talkSPORT, At Home with Alan Brazil.
Do you chip in the chores around the house out?
Like what?
Well, let's see. Filling the dishwasher.
No.
Ironing.
No.
Cooking. Do you ever cook?
No.
Okay. Making the beds.
No.
Hoovering.
No.
What a modern man he is.
There he is. And once all the housework's done by someone else, clearly, what does the big man get up to?
When I'm at home, my problem is, Joe, I'm up here 4 or 5 nights a week. When I'm back in Suffolk, I do live much healthier, because I've got fresh vegetables, fresh meat, out in the garden, a couple of walks, down the pub.
It was all going so well.
Fresh beer.
Fresh beer, meat pie, sit down 5 hours, bang.
Here's a caller to Max on Jim White's show.
Not having a settled side, and I mean, as we all know, Ranieri is known as the Tinker, which I find a bit disturbing, actually.
He is known as the Tinker. I actually, when he was at Chelsea, I bought some pots off him and some spoons. It was fantastic.
He meant Tinkerman.
Yeah, I think he did. Brilliant. And this is Stuart Pearce discussing Samir Nasri's proposed move to West Ham.
The manager has worked with him before, so he knows him as a person. I don't know how his contract's structured. It might be a pay-per-view contract.
That'll be a bit much. If you're a West Ham fan having to pay $19.95 on top of your season ticket whenever Samir Nasri comes on,
that's right,
you have to press the red button on your handset. Can't be easy, can it?
No.
What's next, Andy?
It's Fisherman's Blues now, and Nigel had worrying news from the world of fish retailing.
Well, I think I've just heard Judds are going. Judds
Really?
of Hillingdon.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, apologies to Judds if they're not.
Yeah, apologies. If they were teetering on the brink, what they really needed was for someone to say on a fishing show that they weren't going to be there for much longer.
We couldn't understand why it was empty.
Because I've been hearing, Andy, Harrods, they're in trouble. Apologies, of course, if they're not. Apologies if they're not. But keep going there just in case. And Judds, keep going. So here's the two mics kicking off another entertaining 3 hours.
It is Friday night. It is just after 10 o'clock. We are the two mics. It is talkSPORT. Time to say very good evening to Mr. Mike, a Porky, a Parry. Very good evening to Mr. Parry.
Yeah, very good, Mike.
A very good Mike.
Very good Mike.
Well, he has got a very good mic. We've got quite a ropey one at the moment, but we've got a few good mics in here as well.
And in a week of political turmoil, we turn to talkSPORT's very own Guido Fawkes, Dean Saunders.
I've heard a rumour Boris Johnson's going to be the Prime Minister.
I don't know who's told him that. Mickey Thomas, probably. One of his old Welsh teammates. Yeah. He's got his ear to the ground. He stalks Westminster.
Who knows?
Doesn't he? And stands here like Iago in little corners and getting all this political intrigue. Anyway, this is Tony Cascarino discussing England debutant Callum Wilson.
His mentality every time he was injured. And let's remember, Carl, that he had 2 serious knee injuries, one on each, both legs, right and left.
Well, yeah, good job he didn't play for the Isle of Man. It got very complicated for Callum, couldn't it? Yeah. Now.
Yes, it is. Back to Alan Brazil, and you may recall this moment from the vaults.
Russell, question 2. Which ocean goes to the deepest depth?
Deepest depth. Well, he was at it again.
Like 12 there, doesn't it?
He was at it again this week.
And have a go answering the horse racing based question. You can also find out more information on how to get one of the 3,000th 1-month passes.
His voice is getting deeper. By the time he finishes his career, like Russ Bray on the darts.
I think he will be. That's right. Yeah.
Incredible.
Now, what are we trying to do, Andy?
We're trying to persuade his producer to slip this phrase into his script one day.
Suffering succotash.
Yeah, if they can, if they wouldn't mind, get suffering succotash into one of Alan's scripts. That'd be good.
It's good, yeah.
Now here's the Moose painting pictures with words at Huddersfield versus West Ham.
West Ham just got to improve their final delivery.
Yeah, they've got lots of these clappy things that they clap.
Thank you very much, Moose. That's beautiful. Really got a handle on that. Yeah, thanks.
Ashley from Raksu popped up on the weekend breakfast this week and came out with a very funny line.
X Factor has launched your career, so how has the last however long been? A year, is it?
It has been, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, really listen to music and it's a long time anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
What are you laughing at, Georgie?
Yeah,
you catch a word of that? You didn't catch a word of that, did you?
You didn't.
So, she's quite posh, Georgie. Maybe it was,
yes, maybe it's perfectly clear.
When you're in the company of a lot of you can probably understand that. She probably caught every word.
Yeah.
So, this is Mike Parry again, this time along Alan Brazil on the warm-up, chatting about Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Evita was magnificent, Phantom of the Opera, and this one is it's about the overcoat, isn't it? What's it called?
Not telling you.
No. You know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ Superstar was the first one, and this one was Jesus and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Okay?
Yes, okay.
It's not all about Jesus. Jesus in his amazing Technicolor overcoat I was waiting for there.
Yeah,
priceless, isn't it?
Yeah. And it appears Sri Lankan wicketkeeper Niroshan Dickwella isn't a big fan of our sports newsreader David Dom.
I'm David Dom. Moeen Ali's dismissal had a familiar feel as England lose their 6th second innings wicket.
How close is that?
Doesn't like it.
Can't stand
Not
it.
David Dom! And here's the talkSPORT question of the week on Fisherman's Blues.
If you could only use one bait, what would it be? Bread. Bread, yeah, good answer that.
Great question.
Great question.
Great question.
Great
I don't know if Graham Norton's listening, but just put that in a margin and try that one tonight with Ryan Reynolds.
Now, finally, staying with the cricket, it's Gareth Batty, and every time I hear him on talkSPORT, I get a real buzz.
See you.
Well, let's cross to Candy now and speak to former England spinner Gareth Batty. Gareth, very good morning.
Morning, man. How are you?
Morning, Bat.
We are good.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, I can see why. I can see why you do. It was a bit buzzy. It's also a little bit Dalek, wasn't it? I mean, look, was it Dalek? I'm not quite sure. Let's hear it again.
Well, let's cross to Candy now and speak to former England spinner Gareth Batty. Gareth, very good morning.
They will be exterminated.
Morning, Bat.
Exterminated.
He did, didn't it?
He did.
Actually, more so the second time. It's amazing, isn't it? There we are. There's your clips of the week. Thanks to everybody who suggested them. They were played today. They were Tim Marshall, David Clark, Arnold Anderson, Doddy White, Roger in Durham,
Of course.
Sean Adam, Darren in Welling, Andy C, Mark Gibson, Ruthless, Glyn Berrington, Gary Watt, James Payton. That's no stupid names today. No Seymour Clearlys.
No, I know.
And the Sultan. Thank you very much to the
Good
Sultan
old
as well
Sultan.
for
Well done to
suggesting
him.
the clip. So there.
And Elizabeth says, Max Rushton is a ridiculous hybridised human. When you think you know everything, alt left Max, you know nothing. You're the worst presenter since Colin Murray. Max is projecting thought crimes now. Leave talkSPORT, you grate my soul. Thank you so much for that one.